What I'm going to share with you is an experience. What I'm going to share with you is an opportunity. What I'm going to share with you is the secret to why we can address the single biggest challenges we face as a global community. How do we engage, equip and empower our young people in what the Youth Charter does? And Erin shared with you the tragedy of a 14-year-old schoolboy being shot dead on the streets of Moss Side when Manchester was then bidding to bring the Olympics to Britain. Many congratulations on Los Angeles' achievement in pulling the 2028 Olympics to the United States. The world may have changed significantly then, because the world is so uncertain. But the one thing that is certain, and I believe, is that sport is a vaccine and an antidote. It gives us time to breathe. It gives us time to heal. And all that happened when Benji Stanley was shot dead was I went back on the streets. And I was not happy. And not many people like to get on the wrong side of me when I'm not happy. And I decided we needed a charter for youth. And we needed to see something that represented what I had benefited from and what I felt should be a fundamental human right in the now. So what does the Youth Charter do? We engage young people with sport, art, culture, and more latterly, digital. Ladies and gentlemen, unless we embrace and engage the digital age, we will lose this battle of how we work with our young people, how we engage them in their virtual world and maintain their interests in the real world. So we use what they're interested in and we engage them. We then equip them with the life skills, resilience and aspirational hope. It is absolutely critical that young people have hope, for without it, they will see their energies redirected in the wrong place at the wrong time and for the wrong moment of impact. And then once you do that, you empower. Because once you equip them with hope, that empowerment has to lead to an aspiration of further and higher education, because education, as the late President Mandela stated, is the most powerful weapon. Or it would be employability, a job, something that takes their God-given gifts and sees them contribute positively to society. Alternatively, as many have said, we don't want to work for you, we want to be entrepreneurs. Absolutely right. But with those 3 E's, I believe that we start to develop a cultural framework and an approach that in many respects is so much good work done, but it always lasts for 10 weeks, or 1 year, or 2 years. It's amazing when we look at investment that the return is looked at as a short-term return on investment. That can never be. The work we do is based on a 10-year cycle, 3 phases of 3 years with 1 year of celebration, recognition, and simply providing the confidence, trust, and respect to create all that needs to happen with a win-win-win for everybody. That timeline, we are now in our 25th year. 10 of those years have represented a relationship with Muhammad Ali Centre. There is much that suggests the currency of what I'm presenting, but this year is simply about review, reflect, and redefine what we do, how we do it, but more importantly, who we do it with. Our work is global. It has to be. Young people can interact with a mobile device or an interactive device, and within 15 seconds, they can be influenced. That's why we believe the work has to be classroom, playground, beyond the school gate. Most learning is done beyond the school gate now, ladies and gentlemen. Most young people are spending up to 6 to 7 hours a day on mobile devices. So we have to learn to be able to interact with the positive messages, to negate the false news, and to do what ISIS do so well, slick and efficient communication and engagement. We have to match that, and we are not at the moment, because we are not collaborative in that message and in that moment. But it is a multi-agency, multifaceted approach that suggests all things local are global and all things global are local. So that is our approach, 24/7, every single minute, every single hour of every single day. So if there's anyone expecting to get any sleep, we're going to enter into our years in a very interesting place. All I can say to you is, it keeps you young. That is the sub-regional community campus, and I want to explain the community campus. I was asked by Sir Howard Bernstein, former Chief Executive of Manchester City Council, we have shut youth services, there's austerity, we need to find a more efficient and effective way of delivering our youth offer. And I was asked to consult young people, because they still think I'm relatively cool, and if I dangle a medal, that's the bling they tend to be interested in, and I say it's the best bling and currency, you can ever achieve. We found out there were three key issues: nowhere to go, no facilities were affordable or available to them, nothing to do, the traditional activity had to be more diverse, it had to be more adaptable to the simple choice that they now have. But above all, someone to show them. Teachers were teaching, they needed to learn how to coach. Coaches needed to learn how to teach. We realized that through sport, art and culture, you could provide the emancipatory tools of the ability to read, write and count. 95% of the UK's male inmates cannot read and they cannot write. It was that disaffection in the classroom that saw them in the playground go beyond the school gate to be excluded, disaffected, antisocial, gang-related, and guess what? Extreme. Not only in their violence, but in their terror. That's the journey I've seen by the African British presence that have gone from street to quite extreme levels of violence and terror. Once that affects a community, there is a cloud. We call it something in the air. So we decided that under those three themes, we need to look at a university campus. And I'd spent much time on those campuses. And Muhammad Ali had spent much time on those campuses when he was not afforded the opportunity to win his medals at the best of what he was able to achieve at that time. But it's amazing how a negative becomes a positive. And he was able to sow seeds in those minds that become future leaders and leaderines, and to simply change the mindset of the time that free speech was about activism, it was about walking your talk, and it was about having your subcultural heritage and be comfortable in your skin that allowed you to compete at the multicultural table. But in Manchester, we decided we'd do things differently. We were going to have to work collaboratively. So we identified facilities that would open for 5 hours a week as a fundamental human right. Young people would be allowed access. They were very nervous, but at the same time, they were spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on security lights and security guards and making police chiefs far too busy. And in my view, the police are there to protect and serve. A community is best policed when it is policing itself. And for those who ladies and women of greatness, as I know inspired by Ambassador Shabazz and the Muhammad Ali Centre and Erin Herbert leading, it is you ladies who will keep us in check. You're the checks and balances. By the way, I declare myself as a mummy's boy. I'm absolutely proud of that fact, and I wouldn't I? Gentlemen, if you're not mummy's boys, we have a problem. I can't work with you, and you certainly won't be able to work with me. This is about hearts and minds. This is about emotional intelligence. This is about really getting to the software between the ears of our young. Because what has happened is they've been hijacked. Artificial intelligence, false news, a virtual world, an interactive world that is not humanly interactive or actively human in its embrace. So we decided that social coaches had to be the ultimate currency of leadership. We looked at the Float Like a Butterfly program. We looked at what it was there to do and intended to do by way of Muhammad's legacy. And we decided that we'd bring it together, that we would take social coaches from every single walk of life, every single multi-agency representation, and bring them as a 21st century coaching currency that use sport, art, culture and digital to engage those young people, classroom, playground, beyond the school gate, 24/7, unequivocal and without any respite. And we would work with them and we would develop that as an accredited currency that would not only be for those who are working with young people, but young people themselves, because they've got more cred, they've got more step, they've got more currency, and that's where the intergenerational currency of leadership has to become unique. But everyone says, we're already doing this. If we're already doing it, in Manchester we decided to do it even more. Erin mentioned Media City, the University of Salford, and the industrial collaboration zones. We decided to pull together a multi-agency collaboration to engage, equip and empower those young people. We started to pull together over 80 organisations, and as you know, working in partnership is not easy, but that's where the work has to be. That's where the effort has to be. And if we collaborate with the genuine gift and intention of our young people, we will succeed. That campus is now live. We engaged 750 young people over the last summer with the BBC, with ITV, with a whole host of agencies, but everybody said it couldn't be done. It's always amazing when people say it can't be done. Well, isn't that the reason why it can be done? And is it a reason why we hold back instead of stepping up? Many people talking about putting their heads above the parapet. This is about standing and being counted. Because if we do that, people will see that we're serious and our tensions are not here for the short term, but for the mid and long term. So that campus is live. It represents 3 campuses we have with the aim of recruiting, deploying and selecting up to 400 social coaches, and we will aim to engage, equip and empower over 150,000 young people. But we will do that with the help of the digital age, because we have to map, track and measure the impact. For the private sector, it's an investment and return. Again, UPS invested and their return will be significant. But there has to be a win-win-win. Who are going to be the employers? Who's going to invest in the entrepreneurs? Because that's where the social and economic return is made.